that available for you guys for viewing if you are interested. But so right now I'm just going to do some introductions. So you met Corinne. Right now she works for the Department of Education's Career and Technical Education department. Myself and my team run the Manufacturing and Industrial Innovation Council. So we are a mighty team of 3 individuals. That is our executive director, Michaela Crater, Neil Patacone, who is my director of policy, and then myself, I oversee all of our talent and strategy stuff. Uncommon Goods is also on the call today with us. Suad, can you introduce your team members who are present?
Sure. Thank you, Alyssa. Hi, guys. I'm Suad. I'm with Uncommon Goods. I'm the HR operations manager at Uncommon Goods. I'm here today with a few of my teammates. I have Rob Carucci, who's our head of operations. We also have our senior operations manager, Giovanna Rosario, with us. We also have our operations manager, Micah Telesford, with us. And I have 2 more teammates I think that are going to make this call. I'm not sure if they're on yet, but we will have our creative project manager, Jasmine Garcia, and also our other senior operations manager, Kanisha Phillip, join us too.
Awesome, thank you. And then we also have Southeast Asia Food Group. Kevin, can you introduce your team?
Well, I'm Kevin Liang, and I'm the CEO. And Rodney Allen, I think he's dialed in right now. He's the logistics manager. And Peter Cavallero, he's the warehouse manager.
Awesome, thank you guys. So we're going to hear from them just in a few minutes. So what is the Manufacturing and Industrial Innovation Council? So just for some context, again, we sit within the Department of Small Business Services, and we work with the entire industrial spectrum. So we define that as manufacturing, transportation, logistics and distribution, utilities, waste management, and then buildings and construction, especially when it relates to climate-related and green jobs. So we are basically governed by an executive board, which Kevin, you just heard from, sits on our executive board of around 15 different leaders of industrial companies who basically help us set the agenda for the type of work that we're going to do across talent issues, technology, and of course, policy. So any type of regulatory issues that could look like, an issue with permitting or land use or something of that nature. So the objective of our council is to bring the industry together to actually have a voice and to advocate for policy and any types of programs that will help them thrive in New York City. On a talent side, we do things like this to introduce young people to the sector, but we also build programs that looks like apprenticeship programs, online training programs, and some other kind of training programs for individuals who are already within the companies. On the technology and innovation side, we help facilitate what is called Industry 4.0 or even greener technology. So we work with other agencies like DOT on helping businesses around the city get clean trucks. So that means switching over their trucks from diesel to more hybrid battery electric fleets. Again, on a policy side, again, that could be land use stuff. And on a climate side, we work with our businesses to transition to green operations, processes, and products and services. So why is industrial important to New York City? So it's essential to the functioning of our services and infrastructure. So I think, of course, as you guys saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, being able to get goods and services delivered to the city was critical, right? Being able to get food, which is something that Kevin will be able to touch upon, to our residents was really important. Being able to get PPE, being able to produce all of that here as well. So they're really, really vital to our functioning. The industrial sectors actually have more jobs than digital tech or finance. They pay twice the average wage of any hospitality or retail sectors. So they're a really great pathway into the middle class. They're a fundamental component of innovation, right? So thinking about on the climate side, like renewable energy, that's all coming from that type of innovation. And then they're central to facilitating a transition in our economy to more automated processes. So what does the industrial makeup look like for New York City? You can see here the kind of total amount of businesses we have, but today we'll be hearing again from logistics distribution side of the piece. which is a little over 18,000 businesses across the city. But we also have a little over 5,000 manufacturing businesses and around over 1,000 infrastructure services and utilities businesses here. So what I'm going to do now is move into the Uncommon Goods presentation. If you guys for some reason can't hear this, definitely let me know. Need to that.
Hello, welcome to Uncommon Goods. My name is Robert, and along with a few of my colleagues, we're going to walk you through our warehouse processes. Here on the loading docks of the Brooklyn Army Terminal is where it all begins. On these loading docks, thousands of items come in and eventually get picked, packed, and shipped out every day, bringing smiles to our many customers. The first steps begin here, where our inbound team offloads shipments. Whenever possible, we pre-sort the purchase orders, or POs, before they're taken up to the second floor unit to be processed. Once we're done pre-sorting and signing off on the shipments, we load them up into the freight elevator and take them to the main receiving area, where they'll get processed and split between our second and fifth floor operations. See you on 2. Welcome to our inbound area. Here, we finish sorting the POs and begin processing them. We verify that the items are correct, the counts are correct, and we also kit the items as needed. Kitting is an added step where we have a team package SKUs or stock keeping units in UG branded boxes and label them with the appropriate barcode. This is to make sure that the units are in sellable condition for our customers to buy. Our outbound operation happens across 2 floors. So once a PO is processed, we will separate the units by floor and hand it over to the stock keepers for put away. Let's go meet up with Jose from our inventory team to learn more about the inventory process.
Thanks, Robert. Hi, everyone. I'm Jose. Once the inbound receiving team hands off their items to us, we use our scan guns to acquire the work for put away. This tells us where we should put the items for storage. We have 3 kinds of different types of storage. We have the racks, bins, and multi-sectional cardboard bins we call coffins. We determine the storage site based on the item's size, sales velocity, and fragility. Bins are great for small items like jewelry, while the racks work for large items like puzzles. The counts are once again verified during the put away process. Once the bins have been dropped off where they are needed, they are ready for picking. Picking is a physical process of gathering the items for the customer's orders. Now, speaking of counting, not only is the inventory team responsible for putting away the products, we're also responsible for the inventory accuracy. We do this by continually counting our 6,500 plus SKUs. We try to count these SKUs at least once every 3 months. So the accuracy doesn't just mean the accuracy in the counts, but also means the accuracy in the color, shape, size, as well as other things described on our website.
Hey, Jose, we need a replen on 2. You think you can help us with that?
No problem. I'll get the team to get that down to you right away. Guys, this is Avery. He works in the machine operations area. Do me a favor. While I'm getting those things for you, can you talk to our friends here?
Gladly.
All right. I'll see you guys on 5.
Welcome to the machine area. Here on the second floor, we store small, fast movers that are non-fragile, like our novelty socks and books. These type of items can get packed by our packing machine. Pickers place items in totes, which store the orders until they are ready to be packed. Because we're primarily working with smaller items here on the second floor, pickers can do batches of 40 to 48 shipments per cart. Now that this cart is done, let's go over to the speed area. This is the speed picking area. Here we store and ship items that are so large they need to be shipped by themselves. We also have fast-moving fragile items, as well as larger non-fragile items that sell a lot by themselves. We ship them from here as single-line orders. The beauty of this operation is that when SKUs that are machinable are paired with SKUs that are in speed, we're able to ship them together and do it at a much faster rate. Let's go to the 5th floor where Jose and Janet will walk us through the process.
Hi, and welcome to the 5th floor operation. Here on the 5th floor is where you'll find our assortment of SKUs, all stored in the different storages that we talked about earlier. This is because we offer the option of gift box, and that happens here on the 5th floor. On all these racks and bins, you'll find thousands of items that make us unique. That perfect one-of-a-kind gift. This is where the fulfillment process and our goal for the perfect customer experience begins. Janet, would you like to tell them more?
Sure thing. Hi, my name is Janet. Hey, this is our main picking area. Here in Outbound, we focus on customers' orders, properly pack them, and process them. Let's see how it all begins in exporting. This is the exporting room. This is really where the magic begins. Once the customer places an order, it will be assigned to a work type. It is like a set of job codes based on certain criteria, like zip codes and where the inventory is located. Once the order gets assigned a work type, it will then be exported based on where is the best location to be fulfilled by. We currently have 3 locations, the 2nd floor location, the 5th floor location, and our 3PL, our third-party location located in Reno, Nevada. Here on the 5th floor, we use much larger totes. Our batches range from 8 orders to 20 orders. Once the orders are exported, the exporter will bring it to the pick cart. The pickers will grab a batch, scan the pick batch. This will make sure that it's assigned to them. The pickers will grab the cart, and it will direct them to the locations to grab the items needed to fulfill the order. Every pick batch is assigned to a pick path. This allows the pickers to be as efficient as possible. Once the pickers are done fulfilling their cart, they will bring it to the drop-off location, where they will upload every tote and place it on the conveyor belt. This conveyor belt will bring every order down to the packing lanes, where there will be a diverter, making sure that every order gets assigned to a correct packing line. Any shipments that require gift boxing will be placed here in our gift boxing area. Here, our gift boxes will carefully and thoughtfully gift box every shipment as requested by our customer. Once completed, it will be given to our packers, where they once again will place it in a box and make sure that they're carefully and properly packed so our customers get the best experience as possible. Here we are in our assembly line. Here is where we quickly and efficiently pack all the non-fragile shipments. Here we don't use the heavy paper that we normally use in fragile packing. This is our shipping area, the last point of contact before our customers' orders leave the building. Once the packers finish packing the orders, they will send it down the conveyor belt. The shippers will then scan the orders and place them on pallets based on every carrier that was assigned. It will then be brought down to the dock. And here we are, back at our Brooklyn Army Terminal docks, where it all started, shipping out smiles and one-of-a-kind experience to our customers. I hope you enjoy our tour and learning more about Uncommon Goods. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
Awesome. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Suad and Rob. Do you guys maybe want to pull up, I can do it too if it's good for you guys, but your website, and so we can, students can also see like the products and see the website side of it.
Sure. Would you mind opening that up for me? I'll talk us through a little bit about the company. The link is in the chat. I saw Corinne shared it.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, the link is in the chat on the right. Our company is called Uncommon Goods, and Alyssa is sharing our homepage, which is www.uncommongoods.com. So thank you all for joining and listening in on the presentation. I thought I'd give you a little more insight. There might be some terminology, right, that we use in the industry or in ops that you may not be familiar with. So we are at our core a e-commerce company, and e-commerce pretty much refers to the exchange of funds for goods sold online. And our company was founded 21 years ago by Dave Bolotsky, who is a native New Yorker, and he had a passion for creating gifts and wanted to create a web page that would be able to provide unique gifts made by local artists. So I think what's cool about our company is we're a mission-driven company. We support small businesses, local artisans. We have a year-on-year goal to actually increase the percentage of Black vendors that we purchase from. So the products that you're seeing on our webpage are sourced locally. I think over 90% are within the United States, and you can't buy them anywhere else, right? So they're made by, smaller companies, not companies that you might be familiar with, and they're sold through Uncommon Goods. So we don't make our own items. We purchase them from these companies. We then receive the products into our warehouse and then ship them out. Most of our most of our items are primarily gifts. We're not selling household staples or things you urgently need. Thank you for sharing the story. Yeah, so you can see the story. There's Dave. And we started, we've grown to approximately 200 year-round team members. We take a lot of pride in our ability to create jobs. Some of our company values, which I think make us unique, is we attempt to make goods that are unusual, reclaimed, or from recycled materials. So we focus on things that are handmade. We do not buy any items made with leather, furs, or feather. So we have a strong emphasis throughout the company in sustainability. And our makers, have these cool, unique individual stories. It could be, as an example, down below, we have makers who are husband and wife who had a cool idea and they expanded it. We've had ideas come from our team here in Brooklyn and contests where we've created concepts for new products and found vendors to produce it. But, we are trying to really be uncommon, not to be corny, based off of the name.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm going to just stop sharing this for a second. And so if anyone has any questions first before we start asking ours, I would really love to defer to students, or if Suad or anyone else from your team wants to say something before we start into the questions, happy to go about that route.
Help us find jobs in New York or like all around the country.
Great. So we're seeing some questions come in, and we have a question from Nalita, which is, how come you guys don't accept fur products or leather or anything that's sourced potentially from an animal product?
Absolutely. Well, as an organization, one of our core values is to be a force that does good within our communities. And we as a company recognize some of the mistreatment of animals that occur in producing goods and products. So that is one of the driving factors behind that decision.
Great. We also have some other questions around in the same focus. I'm going to say Maxwell is wondering what your company's mission is. He said he didn't hear it earlier, but what?
Sure. Yeah, I'll expand on it a bit because I think it's a cool story. As an organization, what separates us is we are a member of, we're called a B Corporation, so a founding B Corporation in New York State. And what that means is we go above and beyond to be an employer of choice. So a big central part of our mission as a company is to pay our employees well above minimum wage, and to create and sustain high-paying jobs with good benefits that are available to New Yorkers. As an example, last year we had our starting pay at $19 for entry-level warehouse positions, and that was above Amazon, FedEx, and UPS. And our founder, in a sense, and he wouldn't like this if he was here, but I'd say he takes in less profit to pay his people well. We make sure that we're not just paying above the minimum wage, but paying at or above the living wage. And that's part of our mission. The second part of our mission as a company is to give back. So for every order that we sell, we donate $1 to charity. And we're very active in our community supporting local causes. I don't know what the charity is, it changes each month.
So I think perhaps it might be good to just hear from some other members of your team. I know that we have Giovanna and Jocelyn's now on the call as well, to just talk about a little bit more about your roles, why you decided to work for Uncommon Goods, what you like about it, and how you would, encourage students to get started and involved in this type of work.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
So hi, I'm Giovanna. I'm one of the senior operation managers of the warehouse. A part of my responsibilities, I oversee the inventory and inbound department. So to tell you a little bit about my backstory of where I started at Uncommon Goods, I started in the year of 2010. I was hired as an inbound seasonal associate, which is where we process everything that comes in through the door before it goes out to the warehouse floor. In 2011, I was offered an opportunity to become a part of the year-round team, which led me to take on more responsibilities within the operation. Through the course of my time here, I have learned a ton compared to before I started with Uncommon Goods. I never had any warehouse experience before. I actually came from retail and from merchandising. So I applied for the position because my friend actually worked here. And to me, it was more like a seasonal gig, extra money for Christmas. Why not give it a try? But one of the things that I can say is throughout my entire journey that I have been here is that I have acquired a ton of new skills that I never had before. And Uncommon Goods was more of an opportunity of me being able to learn new things. And also, I have always liked to work with people. Before, when I wanted to choose the career path that I wanted to do, I actually wanted to become a nurse because I am very big about helping people and working closely with people in order for people to get better. And that was a window of opportunity when I started here at Uncommon Goods, that there was a lot of similarities. There were process improvements. How do I make this environment better, not only for myself, but also with the people that I work with? So a lot of it, the reason that I've been here for such a long time is because Uncommon Goods has been that place where there has been a ton of opportunities for me to continue to grow and excel in the career that it's now e-commerce, where I want to continue to build myself up and also to make things better for everyone. So that has been like my major drive as to why I like doing what I do.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
If you Okay, so I know you're this is a virtual tour to show students what your CERTO program does. How does it benefit students? How does it help them?
So I can say, so every year we have, we work with students with younger people from SYP programs like the Summer Youth Program. And we do actually have, specifically for my department, I promoted, we converted 2 SYP team members that this was their first job where they had no experience. So basically it was them acquiring new skills that they never had. And a part of it, which has been helpful, even based on the feedback, is learning new things. Getting outside of their comfort zone has also been important. Communicating with people, understanding new processes. So it has really helped them build themselves up by acquiring new skills and also working towards their communication and understanding the fundamentals of, what it takes when you do have your new job, what that looks like. So it has been extremely helpful.
Hi everyone, my name. Oh.
No worries. You could go. Sorry.
No worries. I was gonna say hi. My name is Kenesha Phillip. I'm also a senior operations manager. I have a very similar story to Gio's. I started as a seasonal team member, seasonal team lead, and I have been promoted through the years. I think while I was in high school or younger, I never knew anything about a job in a warehouse potentially as a career opportunity. So I think now Things have changed a lot in the landscape of retail and the landscape of e-commerce and logistics. And this is one of the rising careers for people. If you want to have a career that isn't sort of the typical, I want to be a lawyer or a doctor. If you wanted to try something different, this is a great path for that. I would say some of the things that would have helped me if I knew that I was going to be an ops manager one day is I probably would have taken some more sort of logistics courses. We do a lot of data work here. Data is a huge skill, not just for ops management or working at an e-commerce company, but really a rising career. So if you have any sort of technical skills or enjoy using data or coding, working at a computer, this is definitely something this is definitely a career that can definitely help you, or you can go into if you're interested. So with that said, I think if you guys have like any sort of specific questions about like working at an e-commerce company and how you can, get started there, we'd love to answer that.
Oh, hey, I have a question. I'm sorry.
No worries.
How do you help students after like high school? Like what do you use to prepare them, and how do you motivate them?
Good question.
So I'm gonna jump in there. So Catherine, pretty much I think Gio and Kanisha touched upon this a little bit, but just to get a little bit more in depth, we are a very high volume season Q4 company where in October we see quite a lot of hires that we need to make, where we look to onboard about over 1,000 people or so. And with that, it becomes 1,000 seasonal jobs that we need to look out for. And on top of the internships that we offer with the SYEP and just other programs as well, we'll look to offer other internships at that time span to also help us out. So we'll look for operations interns, HR interns, and other things like that too. Now, with those seasonal assignments too, we're also hiring for warehouse assignments, customer service, HR, facilities, security, several places. Now, a lot of that is just needed to sort of get that experience, get the operation going and running, but also we want to provide the sort of experience to everyone that does apply and is a candidate to sort of move forward and build off that. While it is seasonal and it isn't the most ideal for some people, obviously you want year-round role, but perhaps with the experience and just sorry, 1 second, I just got cut off. But with the experience, at least you'll be able to gain that, put that on your resume and use that moving forward. And pretty much that'll assist you in your future career and just keep on moving from there. Like Kanisha said, she started off as a seasonal lead. She made her way up to senior operations manager over time. Gio said the same thing. I started as a seasonal operations intern. And from there, pretty much I got lucky in a sense, moved on to the supervisor and got into HR now. It's really just goes to show, and there's not really one set path for anyone. You can start off with the logistics side of things, but Jaslene's also another example here, and I'll let her talk in a moment about her story, but pretty much that experience right there would sort of build on your foundation and build up for your future. And that's sort of what we try to promote with Uncommon Goods, to try to help you guys out, sort of gain that experience and that background in terms of your work experience.
That's great. I'm hoping that maybe you touched a little bit on it, Rob, but maybe before we hear from Jasleen, if Rob or Suad or anyone else who wants to comment on this can talk a bit about, the workplace culture there. It seems like, there's a lot of room for growth. Is there something like baked in, like a professional development programs, how your culture differs from what I think a lot of students might be thinking about with, other kind of warehouse roles, which, may not have the same sort of professional development or upward mobility, or certainly, not the same kind of B Corp status and way of looking at your workers, as an essential part to your family and your culture and how you take care of them.
Sure. I'll jump in, and I'd say what I find, and I've worked for some other companies in the past that had different values. So in my background, I started my career at UPS loading trucks, and I worked my way up into management. And then I went back to school, got a master's degree, and I've been able to grow into regional positions. And what I've learned in my time at Uncommon Goods, we first have a professional development program where we pay 100% for all of our team members to have the opportunity to complete their GED, if it's something that they were not able to do, to obtain a bachelor's degree, and we reimburse our team members at the CUNY rate. And we also, on a case-by-case basis, approve graduate school for different folks that are earning degrees relevant to their job or other types of professional training. In addition to that, there's cross-training that happens throughout the year. We do internal internships where we take people who are working in the warehouse as pickers or packers, and we give them the opportunity to show us what else they can do. If they have the ability to do coding, or if they have a background in creative. So we don't necessarily require a college degree to work here. And we believe that there's a lot of professional experience you can gain in this type of environment. But at the same time, we promote and support our team members that want to achieve, have educational goals.
That's fantastic. That's a really great thing to see. And I think as students are thinking about next steps after high school and where to go, looking for companies like Uncommon Goods who do those things is kind of a rarity. And so being able to find a workplace culture like that is really fantastic. Jasmine, can you talk a bit more about your role? Because I know you're on the creative side, so a little perhaps different from what we've heard from our operations folks so far.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jasleen. I started off working as a seasonal warehouse associate back in 2018. I came during the busy season. From there, I got promoted and worked as an operations admin, and then I got to lead my own team. It was very exciting. From there, I got recommended to help the creative department project manage a really big rebrand. For me, this was really interesting because it was, a whole new department. I don't know anything about, well, at the time, I didn't know much about, design work, copy work. So I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. I was very open to just learning about it. And then after working with creative for some time, I was recommended to stay there to work as the creative project management. One of my concerns with this role was that I might not be adequately prepared to handle the responsibilities and the more technical aspects of project management. So I spoke with my manager from the creative department, and I'm actually now currently studying for the CompTIA Project Plus certification, which Uncommon Goods is funding for me. So this goes back to what Robert was explaining about UG employees getting UG help with continuing education. And then after that, I'm looking forward to getting my PMP certification, the sort of bigger project management certification. And years back after college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't sure career-wise. And after getting the warehouse position, I realized that I do like being in a role where I get to work with employees that have similar values as me. I've met some really great people here. I met some really intelligent, just brilliant, just amazing people at this company. The culture here is very, I think we help each other a lot, and it's easy to find opportunities to network because human resources does a really great job of providing just different events and just great things to keep employees sort of connected with each other. I still talk to some of my operations friends from time to time as well and see how they're doing. A lot of them are also working on newer projects or just doing things that they just weren't doing back then when I was first working with them. So it's exciting. I had no idea I was going to end up as a project manager now. I could not have predicted this years back, but I'm very excited. And I think if you start a career with Uncommon Goods and you get an opportunity to sort of showcase your skills and what you're about, and then and it's just great. I recommend it, especially if you are unsure with what your future career path would look like, I'd say give it a try and just see what you can learn.
I just want to add to what Jasleen said too, and I think it's one of the things that's great about our culture is that we will find the talent. So happy to say that, you know, I played a role in Jasleen's progression and meeting Suad and meeting a lot of the people that I continue to work with today in different positions. When they started, we had no idea about their trajectory in the company. But if you start working at Uncommon Goods and you're skilled and talented and you bring a lot to the team, someone is going to find you and you know, make sure that you get opportunities to showcase that. And I don't want to speak for other companies, and I don't know that that happens too often at other companies, but it's definitely something we pride ourselves on here, is that if you come in here and you work hard and you show skills and you show that you bring a lot to the table, we're going to find you and provide you with opportunities to continue to grow. And it's happened for every single person on this phone call.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it seems like everyone's stories. I know we haven't heard from Micah yet, so just want to give you a chance to share more about your role and how you came to Uncommon Good.
Sure. Hey, everyone. So I am operations manager. I work closely with Geo and inventory and inbound as well. My story is very similar to Kenesha and Geo's. I started as a seasonal packer in 2012. So I think I started around November for our peak season, which is usually around the holiday time. I was a seasonal packer for a little under 6 weeks, and I got called back in January to help out with their Valentine's Day peak. And from there, I got made year round. Shortly after, became a lead and just climbed my way up kind of over the years to operations manager. I say I climbed my way up, but a part of it too is just a lot of the development opportunities and learning opportunities that UG provided, and not just UG, but also the managers I worked with over the years that helped in my development. So the one thing I would say is Uncommon Goods is kind of an open platform where you get in as a packer, but you learn a lot of skills over the years, and not just technical skills, but also like people management. And basically, I would say the most valuable thing I've learned while being here is how to develop other people, right? And I think that if that's something you're interested in, among other things, we do a really good job of just developing people and kind of keeping the culture centered around that, I'd say.
That's awesome. I mean, it seems like for sure, if for the students on the call here, that if you guys, you know, are hungry, you want to learn more, you're interested in continuing education, that Uncommon Goods is a great place to go and start a career. I'm hoping perhaps Suad, you could talk just a little bit, you know, about some of the other roles and functions that exist at Uncommon Goods. It's certainly a really, really large platform online. And so I think, you know, we saw some things, a question from Neil around data analytics and tech and, you know, those types of roles, which also really exist at Uncommon Goods as well.
Right. We actually have quite a few roles open even right now, I'll say. I think we're at 15, if I'm counting correctly, but we have roles in several areas. We have our merchandising department, product development, where we pretty much develop our own products, try to develop our own products as well, product management, tech, as you mentioned, security, facilities, customer service, just a number of departments that we're all looking to sort of get people on board. Some departments hire more on a seasonal basis where they have to hire for our Q4 just because they need that staffing, whereas other departments may hire more on a year-round basis and wait for when the opportunity comes open. We definitely do look to sort of offer those chances to sort of be a part of that department, whether it be via an internship or an entry-level job, or if you come in, let's say in the warehouse, whatever the case may be, we also look to sort of have opportunities where it might be an internal internship where you spend some time in the warehouse and you sort of spend some time maybe in tech or whatever the case may be. As Jeslie mentioned, she sort of shifted her focus from the warehouse to creative, and that's sort of what happened there. So really, I mean, we have plenty of opportunities around. It's a number of opportunities, all finance, tech, all kinds of areas that are included. We definitely are welcoming all students to apply to whatever they want to, whatever they may have an interest in, we definitely welcome it. And again, we really would just appreciate whatever feedback you guys want to give us, whatever case may be. But I'd say overall, I mean, the company itself, like we are looking to expand for the most part. I think I saw this question earlier and I wanted to just get an chance to answer it. Right now, we're only located in New York and headquartered in New York. So as the time goes by, hopefully we'll also start to expand to certain other areas and look to expand in terms of how many jobs we can hire. But definitely we'll be looking to sort of get help wherever we can. We have a lot of opportunities, as a lot of the team has mentioned, a lot of mobility that can happen, whether it's in your own department or it's laterally across other departments. The opportunity is there. We just really try to key in on that potential and that talent and just sort of seize it wherever we can.
So just one quick question before we move on to Southeast Asia Food Group, but how has COVID impacted internships or other ways young people can get involved? Are you still operating, the way you were before the pandemic, or are there less opportunities available? Or, and if students do apply for an internship, what are the type of precautions that they can expect at the facility?
Sure. So a couple things with COVID, we're in the Brooklyn Army Terminal, and we're in an industrial warehouse. It's around 150,000 square feet. We have in Q4 up to 1,500 people on site. So it created a lot of challenges for the team last year. Some of the things that we've done as measures, we participate in cleaning, but we also require weekly testing for our team members, and we provide that testing on site in the building. So for anyone who works on site, we require weekly testing, and we are looking at potentially determining how the vaccine will play into that. The second thing I'd say is a lot of our team members are working remotely. So we have a lot of jobs which are performed off-site for customer service, creative, and all those other departments. So if it's non-essential, people are working from home, and that's been a big change within the company. So depending on the internship, to your question, I think it would depend on what department it's in. And some of them might be on-site, which would require wearing a mask, following social distancing rules, getting tested regularly, or being off-site and dealing, working on Zoom and some other ways to keep in touch with team members.
Awesome, thank you guys so much. So definitely thanks to everybody from the Uncommon Goods team. I think if there's time at the end, we might have some more general questions for you guys, but I am going to switch over right now to Southeast Asia Food Group. And so I'm going to reshare my screen and start with the video from them.
I'm Kevin Liang. I'm the owner and chief executive officer of Southeast Asia Market. My business is an Asian food distributor to food service, and food service would include catering services, restaurants, hotels, universities. In New York City, we're more of a middleman. We buy directly from importers, and so importers would import products from Taiwan, Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, and we would buy from them, and then we would distribute it out to our customers. I grew up in New York City and born and raised in Chinatown. My whole education was also in New York City, from PS 124 and got Confucius Plaza all the way to New York Law School, which is also in Lower Manhattan. I got into the grocery business by way of being born into it, in a sense. It was 1988 when my father started his grocery store with my uncle, and I was about 5 years old at the time. And even back then, I started helping out in the business. There's little things like tagging prices on products, putting things up on the shelves. And as I got a little bit older, when I was 6 or 7 years old, my brother and we started working the cash register. So he was playing the cashier, and I was bagging groceries. In 2006, we came to Brooklyn. We rented out the space, and we've been here ever since. Every day's different as a business owner. I feel like my role is more of a firefighter. Wherever there's fire, I go and put it out. And when there's no fire, I try to figure out when the next fire is gonna come, or try to prevent fires from happening. When we rented out this space, to me, it felt cold. it was just all white walls. So I wanted to basically up the employee work experience. That's when we hired a group of artists to do our murals here. And when we decided to hire artists, when we were looking for it, we decided to go with Asian artists because we're an Asian food distributor. So a lot of the artwork here is actually done by a group called FOBS New York, FOBBSNY, and it's a group of Filipino artists.
My name is Peter Caballero. Currently, I'm a warehouse manager. I wear many hats here. I get here around 5 a.m. Typically when I start, the overnight team is leaving, so they just fill me in on how the day went, any hiccups that they might have encountered.
My name is Rodney. My role at SAFG is logistics manager. I manage roughly 20 to 25 drivers. I create a manifest which I give to each driver. Each driver has their own manifest. The manifest just tells them how many stops they have, where the stops are located. I have to just make sure that the drivers have all the right tools to make these stops in a timely manner.
Usually around 9 a.m., all the drivers are out the door, they're delivering, and we are receiving. Receiving is literally a vendor would come with a truck full of stuff. We would take it off his truck, match it up to the invoice, match it up to our VPO in our ERP system, and then we would tag every single item because we need to be able to retrace it just in case something were to happen.
I have to constantly solve problems, have to constantly communicate with drivers, customers, sales team, accountant, because some orders, like if there's an issue with a delivery, then I won't release the order unless the customer has paid, or so the driver would contact me, hey, should I release this order? 1 second, let me call the accountant team. Hey, I'm at this restaurant, they paid up? Oh, okay, well, let's see if they have the check. Call the driver, hey, any funds collected? If not, then hold the order.
One of our procedures is FIFO, which means first in, first out. Essentially what that means is the product that comes in first must be the one that goes out first. Say you get 2 cases of broccoli on Monday and you get 2 cases of broccoli on Tuesday, those ones from Monday must go out first before the other ones go out. The most challenging part of my job is we have a lot of people that's been here since like the 90s, the 2000s, you know, people that are so accustomed to the old ways that teaching them the new ways. Like I'm more of the techies, the savvy, and they're more of like the hard paper copy people. So trying to get those two worlds to collide and get them on the same page as us is sometimes a challenge, but understanding that in order for a company to grow, they have to change. They can't grow the same way forever. They have to, you know, get accustomed and adjust and, you know, kind of follow the trend of how things are going in the world, because nothing ever stays the same.
We had 3 different softwares when I first arrived. Now I found one software that can do the job that the 3 were doing. So we, you know, the software is very phenomenal. Tracks the fleet, has the 2-way camera, so in the event that a driver gets into an accident or whatever, we can see exactly whose fault it was, what the driver was doing, or what the other person, you know, was doing prior to, you know, the accident happening. The most rewarding aspect of my job is the end result. Seeing the fruit of the labor, seeing, you know, how I didn't realize C-Market had such an impact on different businesses.
And my customers are, it could be from a newly started restaurant such as Saigon Social, or it could be established restaurants such as Tao and the Tao Group, Momofuku, and corporate cafeterias such as JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and even tech companies such as Google and Facebook. The thing that surprises me most as a business owner and running a business is actually the people, how smart people could be, how creative they can, and how dedicated and loyal they are to the business. And it's just really their consistency, their perseverance, all of that actually sometimes makes me feel like I'm the lazy one, but it actually pushes me to work harder.
I'm 23 years old. Not many kids get to manage, you know, as much as I guess I manage. And not a lot of kids are given the opportunity because they're looked at as young, immature, and rash. I might not stay here forever, but I'm definitely gonna, you know, use this job to make me stronger as an individual and learn as much as possible. For those kids out there, you know, I'd say start working as early as possible, start getting that experience out there, because experience is something you can't just read in a book.
Give 110% in everything that you do.
The advice I would give to someone who wants to become a business owner is that you have to have grit. You have to be prepared to not sleep, and you have to be humble and always learning, and just drop your ego and be ready to get your hands dirty.
Awesome. So I'm gonna turn it over to Kevin briefly, but Kevin knows my team loves this video. It was fantastic. So thank you guys so much for putting it together. But and I'm gonna turn it over if you want to say a little more, and then would love to hear definitely, of course, from Peter of how he started out with you guys and the type of knowledge he's been able to build on the job and where he sees himself going, and same thing with Rodney for our students here who are interested in how do they get their foot in the door and what does that skill development look like.
Okay, I guess I'll speak to first with getting, can you guys hear me? Okay, getting into the door. The first thing we really look for are candidates who have already shown leadership skills, dedication, and this could be a voluntary work somewhere, as someone from Common Goods mentioned, SYEP. And what we're really looking for is a track record. And with that track record, we believe that people are a creature of habits, and we carry on those good habits and bring it on into our business here. And I could let Pete speak to how he grew in the business, because he started at entry level, which is night shift pick packing, and we saw the talent in him and how dedicated and everything, and we just decided to train him up and move him up to a management position. Peter, I'll let you take it from here. Not sure if Peter is.
You see me?
Technical. We can hear you. Yes, Peter.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Peter Caballero. So yeah, as Kevin mentioned before, I joined the company and I began within the night shift team. The night shift team pretty much just process every single order, kind of how I mentioned in the little clip we just had. Yeah, and what I could say for that is, every night I came in, did what I had to do. And for me, looking back at it, what I really did well was consistency, just coming to the job day in and day out and doing the best that I could possibly do. From there on, like I mentioned in the video, I kind of did the same thing within the morning team, just more so develop new habits for the people that we had there. Moving on to purchasing, kind of, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we pretty much just purchased every single item within the warehouse. And at that point in time, I pretty much figured out kind of the inventory chain, supply and demand, and really how to look at a set of data that we would have for customer sales and try to interpret that and try to predict how we could, fulfill the customer's needs, but also stay within our budget. Moving on after that, let's take a step back into overnight and pretty much built up my own team using my own philosophies on how we should work and keeping the company's processes and core values into place. Moving forward, I became more of a process manager, operations manager kind of thing, where we just closely looked at every single process within the company to try to see where there are little holes and little cracks to make sure that the process is smooth and more so less room for error. But yeah, and then I'm here now after the entire COVID thing. Just had to do a little bit of everything at the point in time. But with that being said, that actually gave me more opportunity to learn more so every part of the business that I didn't know and come together and be able to train that to other people so that at any point in time, I'm able to, change my hat and do a different job.
That's great. So I know, one thing you mentioned in the video, Peter, and so did Rodney, that technology is constantly evolving and you're quite the techie compared with some others. Can you guys talk about what you see as like the next phase of technology for your business and, how you anticipate being able to deploy those new technology innovations?
Well, I guess I could speak to that. So right now we're actually building out a custom ERP system, which would track inventory, trace inventory, also manage purchasing, managing customers and the like. And the purpose of creating this ERP is also it could link to other third parties such as Bill.com, Samsara, other actually through what they call API. So that's sort of what we see technology heading towards. Right now, I could say we're still pretty primitive in terms of our pick, packing, and inventory management. So we just gotta, continuously improve the business and move it into, more of a tech company.
Great. So in terms of, tech being as like something that's happening in your culture and your workplace, you guys also put the murals all over your facility. Can you give more of an explanation of why you decided to do that? And kind of what like diversity, inclusion, all of those things mean to you at your workplace?
All right. So like I mentioned in the video, when we rented out the space, it's actually right across from our production warehouse. We needed more space for our trucks. It was cold. The lights were dim. Whites were all, the walls were all white. It just didn't feel like a good place to go to work every day. And as a business owner, if I'm feeling that, I'm thinking about from my employee's perspective, why would I want to work at this place, right? So we actually did the lights. We have all LED lighting, brighten up the place, and we got artists to go in there to put up more positive energy art into the space. And like I mentioned, we actually reached out to Asian artists only because we're an Asian distributor. But in terms of inclusion and diversity in our workplace, you could see that even though we're an Asian business, we don't just hire Asians. We actually hire based on credibility, track record, and the like.
So could you talk a little bit about? Well, I think Neil's asking a question kind of in the same vein where I was going, right? Which a lot of your customers, as you said, are restaurants or large business cafeterias, but you also have some retail outlets, and I think perhaps you even deliver straight to consumers. So
yes,
what is that? How does that look different, especially the straight to consumer, right? Which is very different from kind of large shipments.
It's very different. Yeah. So with this direct to consumer part, it's actually a pivot that we did during COVID. Like I mentioned in the video, our main customers are restaurants, corporate cafeterias, hotels, catering services. And all of us know that once COVID hit, basically this whole line of business got destroyed, shut down. And when I mentioned in the video that what surprised me about most is actually the people that we work with, is because how quickly we pivoted to direct to consumer. And what we did is that we actually just shared a Google Sheet to the internet, and actually through eaternewyork.com. And from there, people were ordering directly from our Google Sheet. And it took us about like a month to 2 months. I think around May, that's when we launched our Shopify account. But even before COVID, we had a retail outlet, which is in Essex Market, which actually below Essex Market is called the Market Line. That's more of a small grocery store that we have downtown. And the reason why I decided to do that is really because it just sort of brought me personally full circle. I started off as a grocery store in Lower Manhattan. Just want to bring it back there and serve the community. And Alyssa has our direct-to-consumer website on right now.
Right. So anyone across the city can order. Is that like any borough?
Yes, it's any borough except for Staten Island.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to get there. That's definitely for sure. So the Essex Market, is that open in COVID times? And then how else have you guys had to adjust your workplace?
It shut down. It shut down completely in March of 2020, and it reopened, I think, sometime in June or July of 2020. But even when we did reopen, it's a mini market. It is still a mini market. So instead of utilizing the full space at Market Line, we're only utilizing a corner of it. So instead of having our entire store, we basically have a section of a corner, and it's been working well.
Great. And then again, like other kind of COVID operations, how has it, you got to pivot, but how has it had to change the warehouse operations itself? Maybe that's, something Peter can speak on, perhaps if, you guys
in terms of
revamp?
In terms of the warehouse operations, it wasn't a complete revamp. The space was big enough for us to stay well beyond 6 feet apart. We have masks, we take temperature, we have a questionnaire that employees do daily. Questions such as, have you been in contact with someone with COVID? Have you traveled? Have you have any of these following symptoms? We do that daily. We also bring someone in to do a COVID test on the entire staff. We try to do it weekly, but the guy that we have, it's hard to get a hold of because he's doing so many tests across the city. So we do it at least once a month.
And so what are all of the roles that kind of exist within your organization, right? So I think, we've shown a lot of same thing with Uncommon Goods, and we talked about the other roles that exist outside of just warehousing and packaging and delivering. But what are the other opportunities that would exist within this type of distribution space for young folks? Sorry, I muted you. I meant to mute.
Hello?
Yeah, I accidentally muted you. But
Okay.
Sorry, here we go.
I guess with the warehouse, within warehouse, we sort of showcase the pick packing process, which is same as day and night. It's the same process. We also do receiving, which involves bringing things in, rotating products. We do quality check of all the produce. And aside from that, we also have a sales team, accounting team, accounts receivable, accounts payable. We just recently started a sort of a smaller marketing team to manage our Instagram account, which is to boost sales for our e-commerce account and also for our retail account. Our retail store in Lower East Side.
Are you wearing a lot of these hats as a business owner? Are you managing the e-commerce site, or have you guys outsourced that, brought people on for that?
We actually do it all in-house. So am I wearing many hats? Yes, I am. I guess I am wearing many hats.
Fantastic. Are there any questions for them from students? And I could keep asking, but definitely want to give you guys the opportunity to ask some more questions if you have them. If you do, again, you could unmute, raise your hand, drop it in the chat. Okay, so from the perspective, I would say of a business owner, we actually haven't talked a lot about these things in the Inside Industrial chats. Like a lot of them have been focused on from a worker standpoint, how do you get involved in different roles within companies, but from the perspective of actually being a business owner, we have not explored that kind of entrepreneurship side. If there are students who are interested in starting their own company, of course within the industrial space, what are some things that, I think, you started off really early, but what are some things you wish you had known? And how would you prepare other young people to think about career opportunities, not just, again, from working within a company, but starting their own?
I guess starting with working within a company, you just have to be willing to, really get your hands dirty and learn other roles and look at the big picture of how your role affects every single other department. And if you're given the opportunity to learn about the other department, I would say take it. Never shy away from work. But in the terms of building your own business, I think the first question you should ask yourself is why do you want to do it? If it's purely for money, I would say don't do it then. Because at the end of the day, you have to be able to wake up and be happy with what you're doing. So for example, let's say if you're a dentist but you hate being a dentist, then don't open your own dental practice, because then you will hate yourself. But vice versa, if you love dentistry and you are a dentist already, right? Then go right ahead, right? Open it, because it makes you happy. And I think the happiness portion is way more important than the money portion.
Do you think there are special challenges for the industrial sector that might not exist in other sectors? And this could be to, running a business. As I think I mentioned earlier, Kevin sits on our board, and so is really pivotal in helping us think about our strategies. But, how do you as a business owner address those challenges within your business? And then again, like your work with us, thinking about how you address those issues for the sector as a whole, understanding that the health of all of the sectors contribute to the health of your business.
I think challenges in the industrial business is it will always be there in the sense that the bigger tech companies might come by and sort of like, you know, move you out of your space. For example, Amazon just bought up all the Whole Foods, right? And I'm sure some local grocery stores would suffer. But as a business owner, you have to look at yourself and say, okay, if I'm a grocery store owner, what could I do better than Whole Foods? And one of those things is that, you know, you yourself is sort of the selling point of the business. You could give better service. You may not give better pricing than Whole Foods, but you may have a fresher selection, et cetera, et cetera. So you just have to figure out how you fit into a community. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. And when it comes to, you know, being able to compete, right? Like, what are some of those opportunities that you provide for your employees once they're there? You know, I know you and I talk a lot about different training opportunities, but can you kind of give some light into kind of how Uncommon Goods talked a lot about what they do to help people move up, what you guys are doing in the same spectrum?
So is your question, how do we compete for employees?
Yeah, like what you guys have in employees, you know, what do you do to help them grow and make sure that you guys stay competitive, right?
Well, I think with employment growth, it, in a sense, it starts with the employee himself or herself first. The opportunities given at the point when we hire them, what they do here would sort of show whether it's worth it for us to train them up and move them up the ladder. So it's really dependent on, so a lot of people actually at the point of interviewing, they ask me, hey, what is job mobility like at your place? And I basically reply to them, it depends on you. How hard are you gonna work? How dedicated, how loyal are you gonna work? And I give them examples of even like Peter and Rodney and how they moved up. And even our night shift manager right now, he also started off just as a pick packer at a low level, and he moved up. So I have many examples of people who started here at a lower level and moved themselves. They actually moved themselves up. I didn't move them. I just saw talent, and then I find that, you know, I could train them. I train them, and then they move up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, that was something similar between you guys and Uncommon Goods is that, you know, if you're hungry, if you want to be there, if you want to work, there's definitely opportunities for you guys to grow. And I'd say, you know, if you look at the industrial sectors across all of them, that's something that we hear from all of the businesses that we work with, that they're always looking to bring on new people and move them up and have them stay and grow with them. And, you know, as Kevin said, it's really like, do you want to learn? Do you want to continue to stay there and help yourself move up as well? Because those opportunities really do exist. Are there ways students can get involved with you guys right now?
I would say they could reach out. I do mentor students on the side a little bit. If they would like to work here, you know, we're open to receiving resumes. So we'll look into it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin and Peter. Does anyone have any more questions for either anyone from Southeast Asia Food Group or from Uncommon Goods that we didn't get to? You can raise your hand or drop in the chat. If we don't, I'm actually gonna, go ahead, Karen. You can unmute
How does the culture for East Asia's marketing and Uncommon Good affect like employees and students? How does the culture bring everyone together?
So I think kind of asking a question around like diversity, workplace inclusion.
I would say culture is everything in a business. So our core value here is trust, teamwork, and ownership. And trust is basically being honest. And actually, I could go through each one. So trust is being honest and never lying. Actually, hold that to heart. I actually ask my employees, have I ever lied to you? And the answer is definitely no. And teamwork is basically holding each other accountable, and ownership is holding yourself accountable. So how does that affect the entire team? It affects the entire team completely, because this is what we live by, and that's the culture that we have here at Southeast Asia Food Group.
If Robert, Stuart, you want to
chime in? So from a cultural standpoint, I'd say for us, we're pretty open doored, I'll say for the most part. If there is anything that's ever on your mind, or whatever the case may be, something you want to express, it's very easy to access myself, access Rob, go to Dave, our owner, directly. You can email him, you can Slack him. We're very readily available for whatever feedback or anything that could come to mind. We're really a culture, I would say, more of learning and improving. That's the other thing too. We understand people are people. Mistakes can happen and things like that. I think one of our guiding principles is that we're always learning, and that sort of resonates really well with me, I'll say personally, just because really you're young, obviously you're gonna make some mistakes. I'm pretty young myself. I'm 27 years old. I was pretty new to this, and Uncommon Goods was a great starting place for someone who was looking just to sort of get that experience and sort of get acclimated to who they're going to be and to the world. It really helped me out, just being able to sort of lean on other team members for advice, for resources that I need to sort of just make sure that I'm successful in my role, but I'm also fulfilling my own desire to be successful and just help out wherever I can, and just make sure that ultimately I can feel fulfilled with my own need.
Thank you for that. I think, it's very clear that both companies have opportunities for young folks, right? Everyone, I think, who times is in their 20s or, close to their 20s and moving up like really, really quickly. It looks like there's a question for Kevin. Have you collaborated with any other food distribution groups in selling your products?
Well, HelloFresh is actually, I believe that one of our customers. Fresh Direct is also one of our customers. I guess the answer to that is yes. Several distributors actually buy from us, so we work with them, and yes.
And so that's because they can't, on their own find these you guys have really specialty products that are hard to find in the New York market.
That is correct, and so like I said in the video, we're middleman, so we basically have products from different areas of Asia, whereas an importer would just have one area. So let's say if I'm a Thai importer, all of my products are just from Thailand. So it makes sense for all these other distributors to come to me, because then they could get a vast majority of the products that they need.
Makes sense. So maybe ending with a fun question, I know, and then Corinne will probably have to have maybe some logistic stuff here, but it looks like there's a form in the chat that she needs students to fill out. But for the rest of the Uncommon Good staff and Southeast Asia Food Group staff, what is your favorite product? Maybe we'll go there, that you've ever gotten from Uncommon Goods, or that you have at Southeast Asia Food Group that you would say definitely need to check out.
Yeah, well, I'll jump in. So I'm actually, I'm a native New Yorker. I'm from Staten Island, so I can't order from Kevin's company, but I'm a huge Yankee fan. And before I joined Uncommon Goods, my girlfriend at the time knows I'm a huge Yankee fan, and she got me cufflinks that were made from the seats at Yankee Stadium. So they were taken from the old seats and made into cufflinks, and it was a really cool gift. And I think, to me, that kind of sums up who we are and the type of product that we offer.
That's amazing. That's definitely an Uncommon Good for sure. Suad, do you want to answer next?
I don't know about my favorite, because we have a lot of SKUs and products. We have about, I think, Rob, you probably can correct me, I know we have over 5,000 for sure, but I'll say one that saved myself one time in a certain situation where I was looking for a gift for my at time fiance, and I really didn't know what to get her at that point. And Uncommon Goods had this really cool item where it was a bit more customizable. And what I mean by that is that I was able to just give the location of where we first met. And pretty much what they did was make a puzzle where it was just a puzzle pieces that you bring together, and it would highlight that exact location as to where you are, be like a satellite image of how it is, and just put something nice like I heart Sabrina and so on and so forth. So it was just a really good saver for myself. I was definitely grateful for that, to have that there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Peter, maybe what's your favorite thing at your company? You might be muted still.
Sorry about that. For me, it would be these mochi drinks. You can actually find them on our website. And I have a very I'm a very sweets person, so I enjoy chocolate. These things called Hello Panda. You guys might have heard of them. But yeah, those are for me. Those are both things that are a little sugary, but they keep me awake a lot.
Nice. Kevin, how about you?
For me, it's this black garlic, soy sauce, and chili oil that we got there from Japan, and also a lot of the interesting snacks that we have on our website. And it's like Doritos and Lay's, but interesting different flavors.
So I guess I'm gonna have to do some shopping after this call, and you guys might need to as well. But I think it's probably it on questions. So thank you guys so much. Thanks to everyone from Uncommon Goods for joining us and working on the video, and same thing with Kevin and Peter over at Southeast Asia Food Group. Really grateful to have this opportunity for our students. And I'm going to turn it over to Corinne, but if students have any questions at all after this or want to connect with anyone on the panel, please just email Corinne and I'll connect everybody to the appropriate people.
Yes, I want to also just thank all the students for joining today and for your great questions and comments. Definitely want to thank the folks from Uncommon Goods and Southeast Asia Market. I actually had a question for Kevin. I noticed when I was trying to Google you guys, I noticed two different websites. One was the Southeast Asia Food Group and one was the Market. Can you just explain what the difference is there or the connection?
Well, which two websites did you find? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. One was the SAFG.US.
Yes, that's a wholesale one. So that's more SAFG.US is more focused towards restaurants, catering services, and the likes, whereas Southeast NYC is more focused towards consumer.
Got it. So can people buy directly from you guys, individuals
yes.
households?
Yes, through
Cool.
southeastnyc.com.
Nice. And I'm also curious if you have a listing of supermarkets or the markets that your products can be found on the site. Is that on there?
It's all on there. Yeah,
it's
all
all
of our
there.
products
Okay.
It's all categorized. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anyway, sorry for all those questions. I'm I was poking around there. So any last burning questions from our students? If you want to raise your hand quickly, now's the time to ask. We have about 5 minutes. No, okay. All right, well, thank you guys again. This was an absolute pleasure to learn about your companies, and we wish you the very best. And thank you, Alyssa, for coordinating this. This has been a great experience, and hopefully we can do these events again in the next school year. Thanks again. I'll post the attendance form one more time in the chat for anybody who missed out on that. And please do check out jobs at these companies and share them widely with folks who you think are looking. Lots of interesting roles at both companies.
Hi, Corinne. Thank you for putting this on. It's Rafael de la Cruz. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Quick question. I put it in the chat, but is the attendance only for students or for everyone?
You're welcome to sign up. I just offer it up to the students because I know that the teachers sometimes are tracking work-based learning hours. So I will share it with the teacher if they need that for tracking purposes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you. Take care. Well,
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Just feel free to sign off. I'm going to probably recap with Corinne for a second.
We always stay till the very end. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
I'm going to stop the recording now, I think.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Good idea.